All right, just making sure everything is working. Guys, let me know if you can hear me before I get started. Okay. And just making sure. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So what's up, guys? PoliticsGaming here, and today we're doing a brand new live stream today as the U.S. Steel Corporation. The U.S. Steel Corporation is a American company which recently had a lot of news kind of concentrated on it, especially toward the end of the Biden administration and the beginning of the Trump administration. Essentially what happened is that the U.S. Steel Corporation used to be the most dominant steel company in the U.S., and after the 2008 recession, and then plus like the industrialization of the United States between the 90s or actually between around the 80s to the early 2000s, early mid 2000s, what had happened is just production went down, the economic crisis hit, and then that kind of like was like a fatal blow to the U.S. Steel Corporation. So recently, in real life, there was the sale of the company, or the buyout of the U.S. Steel Corporation to the Japanese company named Nippon Steel. And Nippon Steel is a Japanese company which is represented in the game. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Nippon Metal. Actually, where was it? Nippon Metal, yeah. And it's a questionable icon for Nippon Metal. But in this case, what our goal is here is what our goal is here is that we are planning to be the most dominant steel company in the US and frankly maybe even the world. We have been playing, I have been playing this on my own for years. So since 2026 is the 2026 edition I'm playing in. We are now in the year 2030, and we have had several successful years in a row of constant growth for the U.S. Steel Corporation. We have grown from, I think we started off, what was our starting? I think we had about a $20 to $40 stock price at the beginning of the game, and as of now, our stock price is $357. Market value started off at about $20 billion at the beginning of the game, and we are now at a hefty $182 billion market cap. We have 3 months worth of funds remaining, but we have a constantly increasing result here. So we're making profit every month. So we don't have to worry about, going bankrupt. I mean, it says 3 months, but that's like if, the money pit would get shut off like automatically. Going over our numbers, we employ, starting at the beginning of the game, we had 42,000 people, a revenue of $40 billion. We had a net results of positive 25%. We had a market share value of 0.09%, and we had a debt of $3.25 billion. As of right now, in 2030, the beginning of 2030, we have a 185,000 people employed in our workforce. We have a revenue of $220 billion every year, and net results is 7.57%, which I'll go over the raw numbers in a second. Global market share is nearly 0.5%, and debt, we have accumulated $11.5 billion worth of debt. So kind of going into our itemization here, we can see our revenue we talked about. Salaries, we're spending nearly $10 billion in salaries. Production purchases, we're spending nearly $100 billion a year on production purchases just in general. I have a hard time signing contracts, so we need to see maybe we can start getting that lower to help our net results. Other expenses, $52 billion. We are spending $15 billion in corporate taxes. Amortizations and depreciations, we have $200 million, nearly over a quarter of $1 billion in depreciations here. What that basically means is we do invest into it's the machines. We have AI, robots, and machines that do kind of like lower the amount of staff that we need in the workplace, and these are carrying a amortization and depreciation of $200 million. Net results for the entire company, we have $16.7 billion positive, so we are making a lot of money every year. Dividends and payouts, we are up to $1.8 billion, which is mainly because of our excellent financial results, which we'll go over that in a second, about what we had in the last year. Loan repayments, we have about good amount of money that we are using to pay our debts. And we're going to go over one of the companies that we've been working on for literally about 2 or 3 years now. Debts, $11.5 billion. Material assets, we have $14 billion worth of assets. Financial assets, we have nearly $60 billion worth of financial assets. $70 billion in the bank. $96 billion in reserves. Social capital, $5 billion. Accounting valuation of the company is $137 billion, but market value or market capitalization is $182 billion. And then we have a 13.64 rating of goodwill. Reserves right here, if you look at this, we have $100 billion worth of reserves. This is over the years, the undistributed dividends accumulate and are recorded as reserves. A significant amount of reserves is generally the hallmark of a sustainable company. So basically, this is the amount of money that we have kind of put aside for ourselves whenever we don't pay out dividends. So every year, whenever we give like a 10-15% dividend at the end of the year, then the rest of the 85% that we didn't give out is going to go into our reserves. So I've been making an intention of making sure we have strong reserves for the company, especially with the U.S. Steel Company. Now, if we go over to Arklith, Arklith is a very controversial part of this gameplay that I have been making. So 14,000 people in the company, $1.63 billion worth of revenue every year, negative 35% net results. We'll go over that in a second. Global market share, 0.14, and then debt, $1.76 billion. I bought this company about a couple of years ago in the game, and basically what's been going on with Arklith, my plan for the U.S. Steel Corporation gameplay on my own is that I want to make U.S. Steel a powerhouse, a superpower whenever it comes to raw material production. We want to be able to buy lithium companies. We want to be able to buy rare earths. Rare earths is going to be the next big thing I hope that I'm going to be able to get to in this video here today. And Arclith was a promising aspect at the beginning. So what happened is that it looks that Arclith, whenever I bought the company, if you've actually been in the Discord, for those who own the Geo-Political simulator game that is owned by Eversim, in the Discord, Pericles actually made a brand new channel called After Action Reports. And so this is kind of like where Pericles allowed us to share our GPS stories, go over like what's going on in the game, in our gameplays, kind of like what we're doing. And I've used this as a little way to kind of like document my story as US Steel. So I started off with, let's look, $20 billion in revenue, $15 billion in market share, 24% net results, 24,000 employees, and production purchases back in the day in 2026 was $8.6 billion. So over the years, I've been documenting this, and I've just been going over my financial results, the US going into war with Iran. There actually was a little bit of a moment where the US invaded Cuba, but apparently, man, war really can kind of devastate your company's share price in the game. Over the years as well, let me look. So I bought Arclith with the intention of making it into a good company. And so these production facilities, by the way, take nearly 2 years to develop. So like if I go over here, I go to production, new facility, I go over to Arclith, and then I click this. $160 million for it to be able to be built. But look, work duration in months, 21 months minimum. And I can make it to where it'll be really cheap for me to do this, but it'll take over 5 years, 6 years for this to be completed. Like look, 9/24/36. It'll be done in 2036, 6 years from now, for 50,000 units a year. So earlier, about maybe 2 years ago in this game now, I built 2 production facilities for Arclith, and they finally became operational about maybe a year ago in the game. And so these maybe sat at about 5,000 production, you know, just for about a year. After, I don't really know what it was. It kind of like, I think I finally started investing into the company, and what I've been doing is that I've just been giving loans to Arclith, just making sure that they're going to be able to sustain themselves over the last about 2 years. I would have to give them multiple different loans of 500 million, 400 million, 200 million. And I basically had like maybe 6 different loans that I had given out to them at varying interest rates. So just about, it's February, so about October of 2029, I finally was just like, okay, we're going to refinance all of its debt. We're going to pay off all of the loans that it owes. And then we're going to turn around, and then we're just going to give it one large loan at a low interest rate. So we refinanced that. We gave it a $2 billion loan and paid off the rest of its debt. And then we had about $900 million left in the bank account. I'm trying to figure out what the name of it would be. Like, it's like just the amount of money that the company actually has in raw liquidity, treasury reserve. We had about $900 million in there about a month ago. And Arclith, as well as its Australian branch, have been very much like taking off. The Australian branch actually started to see a huge production increase, and in turn, we've been finally getting actual money off of Arclith Australia. $400 million of debt over there. We did produce 2 new facilities, which we did have to borrow money for. Net results 6.1%. Revenue is nearly $2 billion. And in turn, production has begun to increase in the United States branch. So I have a facility outside of Lubbock, Texas, and as well as just right along the border to the north of the Palo Verde nuclear power plant in Arizona. So in Arizona, we had a new facility built over there as well. Like I said, we did have like a facility that was barely producing anything over the course of about a year, but I don't know exactly what triggered it, but production has been increasing. So as production has been increasing in Australia and the United States, in Australia at least, I'm kind of waiting a little bit more for the United States, mainly because we do have two facilities there. In Australia, toward the north of Melbourne, I had it was actually to the south, right here. So to the south of Melbourne, we did build a new lithium facility, which houses 2,000 people, $50,000 ton cap on production here. So as the time over the last about 2 or 3 months, we've actually been seeing an increase in production here, and soon enough, I would say within the next year, we could be hitting that cap of 50,000 tons per year, which will therefore limit our ability to make money. So now I do have 2 new facilities that are going to be done by 2032, about middle, I think September 2032. They are going to be online by then, and then by the time I think we will hit that cap here, I would say maybe we'll be hitting that cap for about upwards of 6 months to a year at the rate that the production has been increasing. Then we're going to have another 100,000 that we're going to be able to unlock, but by that time we're probably going to have about, I would hope, about 3 or 4 more facilities under construction, so that way throughout the 2030s we're going to be able to just constantly increase lithium production. Same thing for the United States, however, with the financial situation of the actual ArcLith parent company. This is where we were at. So net results of ArcLith was about 500% negative here. So net results is the percentage of revenue in which you are profiting or you are not profiting money. So this means that our like expenses are 35% right now, 35% higher than our actual revenue. So we're spending more than we're making. Same thing was going on about 3 or 4 months ago, where it was actually 500%. So after the new year, after we've refinanced our debt and also had really good, even though we were having a net negative result of ArcLith, we were actually able to increase our stock price throughout the year as ArcLith, which actually brought enough confidence to where US Steel was able to go. Let me pull it up. Sectors, we're going to find lithium, and then, so right here, I was actually trying to get rid of ArcLith, like not too long ago. We were basically selling it off to holdings companies, and the only reason I actually didn't is because whenever I did, I actually had encountered a bug where the ArcLith subsidiaries were stuck on my portfolio, but I wasn't able to mess with them or build anything for them. So I just kind of was just like, okay, I'm just gonna, go back and maybe just wait for them to go bankrupt. So then I was just kind of like, okay, during that time, kind of made me think about it. I'm like, okay, we need to be able to try to save this company. So I just, like, over the last 2 years, I've just been giving them loans, trying to make sure that I'm not going to put them in too much debt to where they're not going to be able to pay it off, but they have enough to where they can at least maybe try to get operations going again. And it was always just a production problem. Once these facilities started to go online, that's whenever they actually started to make money. But then it was a result of, like, the expenses were still higher. There wasn't a lot of motivation in the company. And so now net results are finally coming back down. We're actually at a reasonable amount. We've bought 100% of the company back. And then at some point, I will probably give away about 25% of the company to, if we go over to capital increase, I'm trying to grow them enough to where I can give out maybe 25% of the company and get at least a couple $1 billion off of that, so we can pay off its debt and then be able to just immediately start going into production mayhem. So that is kind of the plan here for Arklith, I think. And the good thing actually is Arklith had a net result negative of about 400% before end of year. Right now we're at 35%, and this is continuing to go down. And even though we are not profiting right now, we're actually making money in terms of treasury reserves. So as I've been watching, even though we are still negative, this has actually increased. So we had this at about $950 million about 2 months ago at the beginning of the year. Now we're at $1.05 billion. So we're actually making money in terms of this and also paying the debt. So we're actually finally getting Arklith to a position to where they're going to be able to start growing within the next couple of months, especially over the next year or two. And that Japanese company cannot open a subsidiary in Germany or Israel, bro. They have to change the logo. See, that's actually the funny thing. I actually am still planning on buying Nippon Steel. Like, that's literally the goal here, is to buy out Nippon Steel. That is insane. I never even noticed that, and I've looked at Nippon Metal like for a while. They own 2.71% of Kabe Metal, actually. I'm not going to let it slide. Bro is just literally here. Your US episode 1 was dope. Yep, I'm actually planning on making episode 2 tonight. So, what else are we doing here? So actually, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I was actually hovering over Brazil. What we did within the last couple of months, I would say by around September to October, we did make a rather large acquisition of a Brazilian steel company. This is called Gerdau SA, or South America. This is a $30 billion company, was a $30 billion company in Brazil that is way more promising than Arklith was, at least financially. So whenever we bought them, they actually had about $20 billion worth of cash that was just strapped on them whenever we got them. They're based in Sao Paulo, and they do have a subsidiary based in the United States, which has no production facilities, no ability to actually operate unless we start giving it money. But I kind of wish that we didn't have the ability to, that we had the ability to just close the company. I don't know if that's like a thing that is like possible, but I just haven't been able to see it. Arklith also, by the way, does have a Argentine branch with very limited production. It is netting positive, but it's kind of been on the back burner in terms of development, mainly because I've been focusing on the parent company not collapsing. But now that Australia and the United States branches are actually doing better, we can start focusing on production over in Argentina. I wish banks were playable, to be honest. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to play as a bank. I love the names of the banks in this, honestly. I think it would be cool, actually, if it's a bank loan, because it's just like, who's giving us the money? Like, I think that would be really cool, because if you were to be able to play, or not even be able to play as a bank, but if you were to be able to, like, borrow from certain banks, then, you know, you could actually have better relations with those banks and then be able to like turn around and then get a better interest loan like down the road. But then if you don't interact with certain banks, they're going to give you higher interest loans or something like that. Because I know that's actually a really big thing with financial institutions, where certain company acquisitions will be financed by, say, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and then like Bank of America will have like these like press releases saying like, oh yeah, we're financing like this. And it really made me think about that because it was whenever whenever Netflix was wanting to buy Warner Brothers, and Wells Fargo actually had a stake in that. They were borrowing. I think Wells Fargo was financing like $60 billion worth of that from Netflix. Hang on. Yeah, it's a press release. It says Wells Fargo advises on Netflix Warner deal, and how much were they giving? The enterprise value of the deal is about $82.7 billion, including debt, and Wells Fargo's $29.5 billion portion of the loan commitment represents the largest ever by a single bank for an investment-grade bridge facility. So I think that would be really cool to see something like that. Where like certain banks can kind of like, that actually would be like one of the ways that you can make money is playing as a bank. So you could where like corporations will start buying each other out, and then as the bank you can kind of like go in and say like, hey, we'll mediate between you guys and we'll finance this portion. And then it's like you kind of have to look at like the finances of both companies and then be able to say like, oh, are we going to be able to finance this? Can we not finance this? So I think that would be a really cool like portion of the game, if any future update were to actually like introduce some type of gameplay for large banks in the game. Buy up the whole economy and become a mega corporation. I know, I want to become like Buy and Large from like Wall-E. Since German reunification, actually since World War II, there has never been a challenge for our country in which acting in solidarity was so very crucial. Are there iron mines in northern Brazil? The state I live in is the biggest producer in the country. Uno momento. Let's look. What state would they be in? And honestly, I kind of want to open another subsidiary or something like that where it's like a sugarcane, some type of farming subsidiary. Maybe like cattle. I'm like kind of wondering about that. But the next also project that I am going to go after is going to be a rare earth minerals subsidiary. That is going to be something because China essentially controls a lot of US rare earths, and the United States has always kind of like relied on Chinese rare earths, especially for things like chips, everything. Two. There's a state called Two. Ramana, Ampa, Mappa. Northern Brazil. I don't see any iron mines as of yet. Utility vehicle manufacturing, paper production, Templar Foods meat. Some chemical. That's another thing I want to go after is some chemical production. Chemical production, rare earths, and kind of controlling the world's steel industry is kind of like the goal. Maybe car production. I can't remember whenever this thing was supposed to be completed. Operating losses. Wish I paid attention to politics in school. These games look interesting, and I can only play ones like Supremacy World War III since it's all action, lol. Electronic components. Maybe. Unplayable, I'm refunding my copy. Why are we refunding the copy?
Our stock price has... The pay that you...
Unplayable, refunding my copy because there's no iron mines in the northern part of Brazil. We also have some corporation buildings that we have, so I'm building this one right outside of Fort Worth. It's going to be open in about 2 months. And then we have another one outside of Pittsburgh. I called it the Vogel Complex. Oh. Development. This one is going to be Eco Steel. It's actually a, it has a stamp on it basically saying that it is like a carbon neutral or low carbon material. We're selling it for $1,200, $1,250. And this is going to be commercialized in 2030, like December 2030. And we have a couple other like products that are coming out. So the lithium ones that are actually doing better in terms of sales is we have the ion battery lithium, we have the electronic lithium, battery lithium, carbon lithium. Let me see. So we actually might need to start making more products. Steel reinforced rebar, recycled products. Building steel is a very lucrative one. 4-star range level. And then $1,800 per ton. We've sold 35 million tons here. This is very low CO2 impact for this product, and we have a stock of about 1.5 million. Current production 1.5 million. Production capacity 15 million. Is the service sector unfinished in the game? I played as a telecom company and there was nothing to do. Yeah, see, I think like the telecom company, you just make like digital products. Like it's literally nothing to do except just make offices. One thing I really want to do, I really want to do a vehicle gameplay. Like, I did want to do Toyota at some point, because Toyota is rather large. Very, very, very big. Let's see. Let me see if I can find a Toyota. I think Toyota has some plants down south here. Here it is. Toyota. $1.4 trillion. Net results 15%. 369,000 people working for Toyota. Consolidated revenue of $441 billion. 10th largest company in the entire world. There's a shipyard. Right next to a volcano. Toyota had me completely overwhelmed. AMN, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? AMN, good to see you. Guys, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. I'm going to be making episode 2 of the United States. We're going to be going to war with Iran very soon, so look forward to that. Sounds really bad whenever you put it like that, but don't take it literally. It's all a game. It's all a game, guys. Even though it doesn't feel like a game, because real life is terrifying and really weird things keep on happening. They said they took a picture. They have this show called The Boys where now, like, spoilers, by the way, so if you don't want spoilers for The Boys, you better, like, mute me right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna give you about 2 seconds. Anyway, in the new episode of The Boys, Homelander basically wants to become God, and whenever it came to making the show, they've always kind of looked at the Trump administration or Trump himself, you know, just how he sees himself. Apparently, like, somewhere outside, I don't know if it was outside of Mar-a-Lago or if it was somewhere else, but they literally built a golden statue of Trump and put just like they had him like call in, talk about like how he was really excited for it, everything like that. They built like a golden statue, and then in the episode of The Boys, they literally put like a golden statue of Homelander right there. It's literally like almost like in the real life, like the one of Trump, he's actually like holding his fist up. But then, like, Homelander, he's, like, kind of like Jesus, like, crucified on the cross. So, it's just, fun. Just fun, like, how... I think it was one of the reasons why it's really difficult for me to kind of, like, even make videos about politics anymore. I've just become just so disillusioned with politics as of late. It's just difficult for me to talk about it because, I mean, like, I'm not in a position mentally where like, I mean, like if someone like disagrees with my take or something like that, they're just, I'm like, I don't want to be one of those people going viral for just stupid reasons because I decided like, oh, I don't like Trump or something like that. And this is coming from someone that like supported Trump, voted for him twice, and just being a public figure on YouTube whenever it comes to this, especially with just how violent everything is getting, how just disgusting people are getting now. It's just not something that I would prefer to deal with, I guess. So just some of the things, I mean, like it's a politics focused channel, and it's just bad now, and it's not, sometimes it feels like I just don't have the same passion as I did back in a day. Like you look at my channel 5 years ago, like 2020, 2021, making a lot of videos. I was still so very passionate about politics. And now it's just like, it's like you can't talk to people, like it's just bad. And I don't know really what it is. It's just sometimes it does feel as it feels difficult to even try to want to focus on a politically lined channel, if that makes sense. I don't know. Played as Lockheed Martin, but it was very broken. I think I played as them once, and I think it felt pretty overwhelming too. Because, like, that's the only thing about this game that it does kind of like feel off, is like the contracts. Like, the contracts are almost impossible to get signed at some points. FabTech. Let's see if we can get Arclith a contract here. No, I'm already still having trouble with the other one. Let's look. Recruitment fairs. Maybe we can try to get a good contract on the U.S. Steel Company. Contract, client. Let's pick. Production. Stock. Let's do steel reinforced rebar. What's our price of your product? $975. Average market price 1018. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's pick sectors, conventional submarines, German security company, annual consumption in tons. We have production already under contract. We have 280 million production. And let's do 80,000, and we're going to let them offer it. We're going to ask for 12. No, let's do 1,100. 1,100 and now 25. Trying to ask for the most amount, and then trying to like get them to lowball us. Okay, so we at least got the negotiation. So then 1,066. Okay, so we're gonna make profit there. $76 million. Okay, let's go ahead and accept that. And that's actually a good contract for U.S. Steel. Only $66 million. Like, I really want to fetch me like a multi-billion-dollar contract at some point. We have the production for it. Let's see if I can get another one. U.S. Steel. We're not going to do building steel because that's too expensive. Stainless steel. Steel in Brazil. Ethical. Still electrical conduit. And then sectors, let's do something we know is gonna like have a lot of metal. Devote, DCL, charity. Let's try building, housing, and roadway again. Pakistan. 470,000. So let's do 100,000. Try same method. Let's do $1,150 here. $125 million contract. And go to the day after tomorrow. Pakistan actually accepted it right on the first on first go around. Huh. Maybe we can renegotiate it for a higher amount. 21% of their production is now covered by us. All right. We're going to go ahead and give it about a month, because sometimes you can run into the issue in which like your production isn't like going that well. I actually do have one of those right now. So like if I go over to Magni, the Magni Corporation, we are offering... That's why we're having such an issue here, because we're only producing like 50, like less than 50,000. Here, 73.7. Trump broke politics, yeah. 73.7. Let's look at our total production right now. So we can maybe match that. So 22,531. Pull the trusty old calculator out. 22,531.2 plus. See what our other facility is doing. 26 point plus 26,622.5. 49,153, and there's one more facility right to the south of New York City in Staten Island. Of all places, Staten Island. And production, annual production of 1,383.4, 50,537. So we're going to go ahead and get that contract lowered, so that way we can actually do that. So we're going to offer... the Magnicorp. Wait. Oh, that's Audi. Hang on. 1.5. Let's renegotiate. So let's do, so we're at 50,500. Let's do a flat 50,000. It's about... Yeah. Negotiate. That'll match our production, and then as we produce more, then we can incrementally increase that. Okay, they accepted it. Okay. So we're going to have an actual contract in which we're going to be able to meet the production capability there. So we won't get any more messages saying that it's not being delivered, because now I can see, because we were short by about 25,000 tons being delivered to the Canadian company. So now we're actually going to be able to have like a better relationship with that company and make them actually make our shipments. Integration of the handicapped in the workplace. Defunding it, apparently, guess. There should be a way that we could close the airspace in the country. Or not allowed overflights by certain countries like Russia, China. Have they fixed the bugs yet? Yeah. Kind of just depends on what you're talking about. There's certain ones, but I mean, they're getting updates like literally every month or two. They're literally about to update it, I think, sometime this week, as far as I know. So, Audi 50,000. What is this? Recycled steel contracts, annual consumption. What is this? 50,000. Let's try 80,000. And we're gonna find more clients because we really need to start building our portfolio. Not the Steam Edition, though. Yeah, no, I play the Steam Edition always. Battery, lithium, electrical conduit, recycled products. Steel reinforced rebar. We're going to go for some more sales here. And let's do sectors, household appliances, utility vehicle construction. What are we getting here? 135. Looks like everyone is actually starting to increase their production after a couple of years, so that's probably why we're making so much money now. Audi, BMW. Let's do BMW. Let's see, 170,000. Automobiles. Let's try Honda. Well, actually, Honda, 261,000. What about Toyota? Let's look at Toyota. Toyota. Or actually, yeah, let's check Renaulto. Renaulto, 188,000. We need like a big lucrative contract for steel. That's really what I need. Oh, hell yeah. Let's... What is this? This is the Wondrix Tech Corporation. 4.3 million tons worth of consumption for this company. Let's see what we can get. Let's do 1.125 million tons worth of steel here. We're going to offer $1,250 per ton. And that is going to be a total amount of $1.7 billion for U.S. steel. However, we were spending $127 million on custom duties and $32 million to transport it, which is going to net us about $1.5 billion. Let's go ahead and send that over, see if they accept that. Oh. 1,000, so 1,250 is what we offered. They're wanting 1.6 million. So actually, this is a better contract than what we were going to get before. So let's do 1.2. Let's do 1125. 1125. That's going to get us $2.06 billion here. Let's go ahead and negotiate that. Increase to the WAB Machinery Company, 80,000. They accepted it.
I see the tower.
And 35% negative. What about our funds? They're still doing good. If it dips below $1 billion, then that's whenever I'm going to worry. But with our customer, Magni Corp, undelivered. See? Seriously? Contract rejected. Less attractive than the previous one. Okay. Let's do... Go back. Client. Let's do... Steel reinforced rebar. And that was... What was that company? It was German. German. And then it was Wondrix. Okay, so let's do 1.5 million tons offered. Go back to that original offer that we had of $1,250. 2.07 billion. Offer that, and then we'll take the first offer that they ask us for. Haven't encountered many bugs in this game, actually. Same. Sometimes. Arclith, good growth in revenue. Corporation, and agreement negotiation. 1.064, 1.78, and 1. Okay, we're going to accept that. Haha.
Open.
Apparently our revenue results are over 1,000% above like what we were at 5 years ago, 4 years ago. You should try to get free healthcare. Why? You mean other countries have free healthcare? You don't have to pay $300 to go to see a hospital? Ah, see? That was like, it went up like $25 million. Hell yeah. Played this game for 211, had one crash when 2026 first edition first came, but it was fixed in the next update. I used Godin Spy like crazy in this edition. I've only encountered a few bugs. Not game-breaking ones, though. When you hire people for a facility, do you get a notification in French? No. Actually, I've done those recruitment fairs, and those are not bugged for me. The only one that I can ever see that is bugged, and it's kind of been prevalent there for a long time, this right here. This shows up in French. NUSD, right there. That's in French. So that's one of the only, like, bugs, I guess.
I wanted to.
Arclith. Oh my god, dude. We were so close to getting net positive results. Most of the bugs I get are translation issues. Yeah. Literally. Honestly.
I see that.
See what our production is looking like in Arclith. 26,000. 31,000. Yeah, we're starting to max out our production. I feel like we're gonna max out pretty quick. And then we're gonna have to wait like 2 or 3 years because I want enough money to where I'm gonna be able to afford like 4 different facilities that need to go live in like 2 years, and then we're just kind of like the longer we wait, the longer it's gonna take for those to go live. Research agri-food.
I wanted.
I feel like we should be able to borrow a little bit, at least on one production facility for Arclith. We definitely don't have the ability to finance a lot of it. We're gonna borrow one. I'm gonna put this in Oklahoma. We're gonna see what that does to our net results. Okay, we're gonna do another one and borrow that money. If we can just get 2 more facilities going live within the next 2 years, like, we're gonna be fine. Okay, so one in Oklahoma. This next one is gonna be to the north of Vegas. Let's see what that does to our net results. 6, 7. Haha, funny word. Funny number.
The company's.
If you click the blank flag, shows up for me. Temperate, inflation, 0.91, deficit. How much debt does the US still have? Hang on. 24%, growth, 1.62. Presidential election is in May 2033. Huh. Well, US elections are kind of messed up now. Looks like they had an early election. Carbon tax 0, business tax 0, corporate tax 21. US is pretty good in terms of taxes. Very, very good country to kind of like, because the only thing that I kind of like messes you up is going to be like the minimum wage. Go over to Brazil, corporate tax 34, social program tax 10, 20 for employers, 2% business tax and percentage of revenue, carbon tax 0, 44 hours in a work week, which is beneficial. Very much lower minimum gross salary per year, 14,000 in the US, 3,400 in Brazil. Gross income of the employed for a year, 4712, 57 in the United States. Inflation is actually negative in Brazil, 10% deficit federally, $3.3 trillion. What's the Chinese economy looking like? $24 trillion, 1.4 billion people, 8% deficit, 1.5% inflation, 1.12% unemployment. What's the unemployment rate in the United States? Unemployment, 7%. Jesus Christ, why is it so high? Another goal is to open up a subsidiary of U.S. Steel in Mexico, but Still haven't done so yet. Large labor pool that we can draw off of in Mexico. $26,000 tons and 30,000 tons in Arizona. You may meet the minimum requirements that does require more to run smoothly and not cause issues. If you have better specs, the recommended specs, then it's weird. Australian branch, nearly $2 billion here. 0.15% market share. $2 billion worth of debt. Hang on. Still making more money here. Australian branch, almost $1 billion in debt. We're in money reserves. Arclith mortgages, $500 million. What is... I actually increased the subsidiary contribution to the consortium parent company. It was 5%. We did increase it to 7.25%, 7.25%. We are planning on increasing this to about 8.25%, but not yet. We just kind of wanted to see, like, you know, like what is good in terms of the contribution. It says parent company or consortium headquarters is responsible for the management, administration, economic, ethical, and legal oversight of its subsidiaries. Therefore, subsidiaries will transfer a percentage of their revenue to cover the headquarters' expenses and pay their leaders and shareholders. Moreover, the parent company collects dividends when, if they are paid out from its subsidiaries. If I go over to here, we can click Arclith, and then we can go over to here, and we can see a little bit more in-depth detail what's going on financially at the company. Arclith, $3.7 billion worth of revenue in the entire company. Salaries about $1 billion. Production expenses $800 million. Other expenses $900 million. We're spending $136 million in corporate taxes here. Net results was $2.6 billion negative in 2029 in the last year. We are at $129 million in a negative in net results. Worst part about this, though, is we have negative $2 billion worth of reserves. So like I said earlier, this is the undistributed dividends accumulating. So I'm not too sure, like, if anyone else is like a business major out there, let me know what this means. If you can explain that to me about what it means whenever you have negative reserves. Market value of the entire company is $3.6 billion. We could easily make Arclith a $20+ billion company if we continue to increase its production. So I'm very excited to see where we can take Arclith within the next couple of years, and it will take several years. I'm assuming we could make Arclith a $25 to $50 billion company by 2040. This is actually one of the only gameplays I'm actually devoted to, in which I think I'm going to be playing at least more than a decade in the game. And we're already 6 years away from being on that decade. What have I missed so far? Nothing major. Just we've been mostly talking about the history of the company, what I've been doing. No strikes, no big acquisitions or anything like that. So not too much going on that you've missed. Mostly we're just looking at the financial results of Arclith, trying to see if they're going to be doing better within the next couple of months. So how old is your company? Company is 900, 1901 is whenever the year, is whenever US Steel was founded. I started this game in 2026. So that's kind of like how old the company is. So I've been playing for about 4+ years in game. However, the company itself is way more than 120 years old. More like US Steel, am I right? Ugh, God, don't ever make me do that again. There's a gigantic company in China. I think it's nuclear. I think I know what you're talking about, because if I go and look, Crest Services, yeah, it's a nuclear power plant. It's an electricity company in, oh, that's cool. They have the little arrows just in case you have a lot of subsidiaries. Private company in China. Value is $934 per share. 2.9 billion shares, I think, is available, but they are a private company. They're the #1 top company in the world, though. I don't know if I can get some more information off of it. Yeah, they have a lot of subsidiaries. Mostly electric companies. So that looks like they're a holdings company, an oil and gas company, nuclear SMR, nuclear fusion. Do nuclear fusion reactors still have that bug? That's actually my question, because this is going to be very important for the US gameplay. See if I can find any fusion nuclear power plants. A little pig farm. Damn. Do they have any companies that are not in China? Gotta laugh, was not expecting that to be on. Does your company have buildings in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware? Yeah. If I go over here, a lot of these are new production facilities, but I know there was 2 facilities in Pennsylvania. No, it wasn't those. Maryland is one of the first ones. So you have one in Maryland, none in Delaware. I guess one in Maryland. It usually starts off with only like 1. Can't remember where the other one was. But we've especially focused production up in the Midwest and as well as the South. Those are the ones that have had the heaviest investment from the company. Is your company hiring? LOL, yeah. We're hiring every day. Arcliffe. What about Australia? About to pierce $2 billion each in terms of Arcliffe and the Australian subsidiary. $2 billion in debt from the Arcliffe company, but it is steadily paying down its loan to US Steel, which is exciting because we're finally going to be able to get Arcliffe into like a stable financial position where it's going to be able to just focus on its own company rather than having to deal with possible bankruptcy. And that's what like we've been dealing with over the last 2 years, is that Arcliffe has just been struggling financially. I mean, like And it was getting to a point to where, I mean, I could see the writing on the wall that it was either that I try to manage it very steadily financially, or I could just sell it off or just wait for it to go bankrupt. How many people work for your company? Almost 200,000. 185,000 for the entire consortium. 14,000 for Arclith. 1,028 for the Argentine branch. Australian branch employs 2,500 people. 33,000 for the Gerdau South American branch of the U.S. Steel Company, which is a major Brazilian steel company that we bought out just recently. And the U.S. branch of that company doesn't have anyone that's really working. 300 people working for it, but we honestly are kind of just waiting for that subsidiary to run out of money, because we don't need that. And U.S. Steel Corporation, 133,000 people work for the company. 4% net results, starting to get a little low there. We don't want that to be dipping down. Hang on. Just noticed that. Net results should only be for the U.S. Steel Company. 224. So, no, I think this is for the entire company. It's detailed for the entire consortium. Pre-tax revenue. 188. Hang on. Corporate tax. God, we are spending so much on tariffs. No wonder why we're making so much, like, we're spending so much on production purchases, literally because of the custom duties. If we were playing as the United States and the U.S. Steel Corporation, we'd actually be able to do free trade agreements, so that way we didn't have to worry about that. But the AI actually doesn't commit to any type of FTAs on the back, like, while, like, it's, like, you're not controlling it. What company has the most people working for it? What is the biggest steel company? I'm not too sure. Even if our net results go negative, we have $50 billion worth of reserve, which I want to get that to like 100 billion, because we did spend a considerable amount of money on the acquisition of that Brazilian firm, and now we're kind of like just building our reserves back up, so that way we just have a lot just in case of a rainy day, maybe another acquisition that we're going to possibly attempt down the road. Mostly, I want to dump about $10 billion into a new subsidiary that I want to create. That's either going to be a chemical company or it's going to be a rare earth company. I feel like the chemical company might be better suited, mostly because we could actually get results a lot quicker. I think the rare earth company is going to be kind of like the lithium company, where it's like it's going to be a very slow burn for actual profitability. I think we're going to be spending more money on a rare earths company than if we were to go toward chemicals. The working conditions are probably horrendous. Don't worry about how my working conditions are, my boy. You have no authority asking that. In fact, come to my office right now. I'm going to beat your ass. Guys, I cussed. I need someone to donate $5 so it was worth it. Especially outside the US, actually, yeah. Especially in Brazil. I actually had a strike not too long ago. Mostly about pay, actually. Here, let's look. Hang on. Salaries, organization. Open an investigation into this. Let's look. So I'm gonna show you that our South American branch is fine. So we're gonna do an employee investigation. think carbon lithium total price 41,000. Electronic lithium ion battery. What's our lowest priced item right now? Carbon lithium. Don't we have like a new product out of Australia? What's our production looking like in Australia actually? $30,000, so we're way halfway there in terms of that. We still got a year. Still got a lot of time left in those two facilities that are going to be bringing production to Australia, but it's going to be difficult. Salary gap. They're all mad because I gave myself after the first like two financial results that we got, I increased my pay from like $600,000 to right now it's at $1.5 million. I actually lowered my pay in the last financial result period, but I wanted to give myself a $75 million bonus, but the board only accepted a $25 million bonus. So maybe you could buy a company in Canada or Mexico. I was thinking about buying a Mexican steel company, but I actually wanted to directly compete in Mexico as the U.S. steel company, or just like I was going to name it like United Mexican Steel or something like that. UMS. United Mexican Steel. Actually, that's exactly what I'm going to call it. I wanted to make my own logo for it on Photoshop, so it's kind of like something I'm kind of just having on a back burner right now. But eventually, I do want to like directly compete in the Mexican steel market rather than just buying out a company and controlling it from there. But I'm not against it, so let me go ahead and look to see what kind of companies we have in Mexico. Steel. Let's look. Steel. Go to nations. Go to M. Mexico. There's no Mexican steel companies. Well, I guess we were forced to compete in Mexico anyway then. They got no freaking steel companies. Which I think they went bankrupt. Safety Belt Steel. The hell is this? Safety Belt Steel. It's a Mongolian company. UMS sounds great. Yeah, I know. I'm great, aren't I? So I'll pay someone $5 if they can make me a badass logo. Are there any steel companies in Canada? Let's take a look. Purchase, buyout bid. Canada or steel. They probably do have a steel nations. Canada. No steel companies. I guess I'm saturating the market so good that like the entire North American continent went bankrupt. Guess same thing there. We're gonna have to start competing directly in Mexico and Canada. God, China's just getting demolished right now. Oh, our management office is actually complete. How many steel companies are left in the world? Let's look. Make a buyout bid. Steel. Plenty of them, mostly in Japan and China. Netherlands, Azerbaijan, Australia, United States, Taiwan, Romania, Ukraine, Vietnam, Japan, South Korea, India. Yeah, that's India. Japan. I think that's Colombia. Is that Colombia? No, yeah. Yeah, that's Colombia. Russia, Brazil. The funny one. Russia again. India, Sweden, Argentina, and the Netherlands. So a handful of countries have actual steel companies. So we're just going to buy out the entire world production at this point. Some pretty sizable competitors, I guess. Very cheap steel being made by SD Global. What about Russia? Wow, we are way above market whenever it comes to the average. Oh, Jesus Christ. I wish we had the ability to lower our prices. I mean, we can, but we'd be losing billions of dollars just trying to lower our prices. What is your biggest competitor? I think we're actually the top in terms of steel. Steel. Summer 9 Steel is our competitor. Okay, so yeah. This is in the top 100. So like this isn't some type of like only right now, but these are like the top 100 companies in terms of steel production. So Summer 9 Steel is a Chinese steel company, privately owned. 8 million people work for this company, 8 subsidiaries. They have a price just about $600 before taxes. After taxes, they have $700. $52 billion revenue in the entire Chinese steel market. And then let's check out their subsidiaries. They have subsidiaries in the United States, India, Germany, UK, Russia, Italy, France, and Japan. Let's check out this US company. Established in 2026. It's not even operating. There's no like anything there. But worldwide, they're our biggest competitors, so we're actually lagging way behind Summer 9. But we'll get there. Market value, $200 billion. Share price is up. We'll get there. $300 million a share. Look at that. How rich is this guy? 37 million. He's missing out. What about richest people? Let's see where we are. We are 456. We are as rich as the director of Greenlight Innovations in Israel, Paragon Solutions Consortium in Kosovo. We're worth $600 million. Vortex, Artemis, Apex Consortium. Santogil, Prime Eating. Okay, let's look at subsidiaries that we can make. Steel. Like rare earth oxides is going to be one that we want to make. And then So rare earths, and then what else? Chemicals. So chemicals is going to be the next one. I'm going to throw like $5 to $10 billion in this. What should the name of this company be? Anyone got any sweet chemical ideas? Chemical company names? Net results went up a little bit on Arclith, but we're still stable. We still cut it in half since the beginning of the stream. Operating losses are Arclith. Yeah, I know. I still want to do like some type of so that's 20%. $500 million. We could offer it for $1.8 million a share. I could get us $300 million, but I'd rather wait until the capitalization of the company is like at least enough to where I can make like $1 billion. But I would think I would have to wait until until Arclith is worth like $10 billion, which is, I mean, it's getting there. Production is up. 32. Let's see. Arclith. Lithium, $200 million revenue. Surplus is actually minimized. 25,000 average price. Variety is going up, actually. Stock price is baffling. I'm like bafflingly finally going up. Technological equipment, working conditions, cybersecurity, general fees, paid out to shareholders. We actually paid a lot more to shareholders in this year. Contributions to the parent company, $170 million. Exceptional expenses is down, actually. Annual, this is just generalized. Debts, $2.5 billion. Material, well, that's for the entire Arclith company because it has subsidiaries. That's because we're borrowing in terms of the Australian branch. Said, okay, that's okay. Funds, $2.3 billion. I'm assuming most of that is going to be owned by either the No, that's all three of them. Because one of them has $1 billion. I'm pretty sure the Australian branch is $1 billion. And I don't know how much. I think maybe the Argentine branch has maybe a few $100 million. Market value, look at that, $3.6 billion. Once we get production up, about 2 years, I'm pretty sure that I can get that up to $10 billion. Do you have any companies in the Caribbean? No. You should make your chemical company located near Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Yeah, but what should the name of it be? That's the interesting question. Is your company in Delaware or some other state? Pennsylvania. It's based outside. It's based in Pittsburgh. Headquarters Texas. Huh? Huh? Oh. Wait, what? Oh, maybe you can only have one of those at a time. Wish I knew that. I just wasted like $3 billion on that other facility. Hang on. It's like... Where's my other one? I thought I built another set of those. I think I have another one under construction, actually. I swear to God I was gonna build it. So I guess we're based in Texas, because I built the consortium headquarters right outside of Fort Worth. Creating a prestigious headquarters. Construction of a prestigious building to be the headquarters of your consortium sends a strong message to the entire world. Not only will this strengthen your notoriety in the eyes of your customers, but is also an undeniable sign of financial success, which will make your employees proud, instill confidence in your partners, and garner the respect of your competitors. So I think we're gonna build this somewhere. Yeah, I don't like the level 5 one, honestly. Level 4 kind of looks better. Because I literally had one, like, right here. And it disappeared. I guess because you're not supposed to have more than 2 offices around. How long have I been streaming for? I have been streaming for an hour and a half. Probably call it quits in about 20 minutes. Stainless steel, eco steel. Yeah, that one's still going to be out for a while. See, it would still be great for us to buy out Nippon Metal, because if you look at Nippon Metal, 100,000 people work for the company. They own 1.7% of the market share globally. What about Nikkar? This is an American company. I think... I mean, should we focus on expanding internationally, continuing to expand internationally? Or, I mean, we could continue to buy out the American steel companies. Posca? Posca, it's Korean. It's Korean. But it's private, actually. Wongsung 38. Oh, this is one of the Chaebol. Yeah. He's definitely one of the Chaebol. I should do a Chaebol gameplay, honestly. We just literally just buy everything in Korea. Just have like a total grasp on the entire Korean economy. At least a quarter of it. Hello. A second time? They just declared... They literally declared war like 5 years ago. Damn, just terrorist bombings all over Africa. What the dog doing over here? Be careful you don't become a monopoly and get in trouble with the government. Who cares? Somalia total jihad.
I wanted to...
How many troops does Yemen have? Economic attractiveness. Hello? Where's your troop count? Huh? Next elections. Jesus Christ. How long is your term? Oh yeah, she only just got into... She just got into power and immediately started a war. Are you kidding me? Yemen just can't catch a break, can it? Did they just declare war and then, like, not go to war? Contract. Idaho. We're producing upwards of 60,000 tons. There's no way that we're not making the shipments for the Megni company for that customer. See? How the hell am I not making... We need to increase production, otherwise revising or terminating the contract. Okay, I'm going to reduce it by another 5,000 tons. If we're still getting that, with the 5,000 tons getting chopped off. So $831 million contract. And then over time, we can increase it back to where we had it before. Contract accepted. Okay, so $831 million. Let me contract. Okay, so lithium, annual sales to lithium. Or do we have any other lithium? No. So 44% of maximum production capacity. Steel and force rebar, price 1.7 billion. Wondrix. We're going to terminate that contract. And then with Audi, 121. We're going to keep that. WAB. sales are almost 200 billion. What is the biggest chemical company in the US? Probably P&G. Can you make any contracts with American car companies? Yeah. Have I not? I have not, actually. Good idea. So contract, clients. What are we going to sell? That'd actually be a good product, actually, here. Let's actually go back. And then while we do that, we're going to create a new product. We're going to call this U.S. Steel Corporation, Steel, Recycled Steel, or Steel Volume 3, or Steel Level 3. Steel Level 3. Let's do Recycled Steel. Let's call this Car or Vehicle Production Grade Steel. We're gonna sell this for... We're gonna sell it for $1,500 base, but that kind of gives us a little bit of leeway in order to just like get people to kind of talk down to things like 1,200, about 1,000 to 1,200 is going to be our sweet spot there. We're going to do this for a 3 grade range. So we're going to have an expected margin of 1,300%, 0.1% in CO2 impact. It's going to take us 12 months to develop, and it's going to cost almost $30 million to develop. And we're going to put a little picture on here. Ugh, come on, man. Actually, I think that's a good picture. Okay, so back, custom. See if that'll accept. No, it didn't accept that. Hang on. I got y'all. Come on, man, I won't accept any of my pictures. Damn, this thing really does not want to work with me. There we go. Ha, finally. You're not having good luck with pictures right now. Yeah, literally. All right. Create. All right, and then that's going to be done. Commercialization, June 2031. So that'll be done in a while. But in the meantime, I can grab a contract with... Let's see if I can sell this to them. I can just max the hell out of this at that price, because it's literally cheap enough to where they're going to be able to buy it. Steel, automobile, United States, Kia, Volvo, Saloon. I saw a car like this. I've never heard of this company before, I guess, until now. I saw a Lotus on the road like a couple of days ago. It was really weird. Cadillac. Let's see if Cadillac is taking any offers. Come on, Cadillac. Seriously? What about planes? Airbus? No, Airbus doesn't need anything. Automobile. Got a couple more minutes before I'm just gonna hop off. Kia. Who else? NCO. Mercedes-Benz. Who produces the most? Buick? Okay, maybe Buick. Let's do something to Buick. Let's do 75,000 tons. Ah. Let's see if they offer anything back. If anything, we're gonna be making a lot of profit off of that. Why? Why would you do that? Dude. Are you kidding me? Personal underemployed, CEO salary. The Ukrainian government has just launched a war against Belarus. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Come on, Ukraine. Especially against a Russian ally. You literally... Have they even recovered? Militarily? Their deficit is 28%. You can't afford a war. What are you doing? How many days have you been in office? 137 days. What is... It sounds really sexist, but what is these women... like, just launching wars, like, literally right after, like, getting in office? Belarus declares war in Ukraine, so it is a declared war. If it starts dragging the rest of Europe into this war, I'm gonna God inspire it. Like, I'm not having World War III start with me as a company. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess we're having two simultaneous conflicts break out. Didn't Yemen literally declare war like 2 months ago, and then I guess now they're like... That's breaking out? Hello? Girl power, I suppose. Yes, it is genuine girl power. Okay, 1,000 troops. Somalia is just gonna be curb stomped by Yemen at this point. Both of them are like two squabbling dogs that are just like dying because both of them got their legs chewed off. But Yemen is the one that actually has half of a leg more.
I see the tower.
Let's look. 12%. Yes. Dude, we're doing so much better in terms of production here at Arklith. $2 billion revenue. What's our debt looking like? We are making money. We are actually financially recovering Arklith, which has like literally been the last 3 years of my gameplay, by the way. Of course, Gabe Vogel comes in like right as I'm getting ready to sign off. And I'll go another 15, 20 minutes then. Gabe, you're going to love this. You're going to love this, Gabe. Look. Australia branch. $1.8 billion. Wait for it. Arklith. We're outperforming our subsidiary now as the parent company of Arklith. 12% net results. Global market share 0.17. Debt is 2.13. Debt, as of right now, is $1.6 billion, but Treasury Reserve is actually making money. So we've actually recovered about $200 million into the Treasury Reserve for Arklith. So that means we are very... Did you come from the land down under? Where women go and there. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's watch. There's going to be an annexation, and then it's going to be like a little enclave. Yemen is going to annex Somalia for some reason. Hello? Apparently the roads are now occupied. I swear to God, if they annex them, I'm gonna be pissed. No! Why did Italy declare war in Ukraine? I don't know. What's Zelensky doing? No, it's some woman that's been in power for like 100 days. She literally just stopped declaring war. Uh-oh, it just froze. Oh. I should probably save the game since I've been playing for long enough. Girl boss just started World War III after 100 days in office. Hang on. Are they still at war? The Russians and Ukrainians? Please don't be. Please stop. Please, please, please no. Please don't be at war. Let's, we're gonna go ahead and call this quits for today. We're not starting World War III right at the end of my gameplay. So yeah, let's calm it down a little bit, huh? Let's calm it down. It's gonna be okay. What's my share price? See, this is why I don't want the world war breaking out, because apparently my stock price is already getting suffered and beaten up because the Ukrainians decided to, for round 2 as revenge about the, whatever his name is, Lukashenko or whatever the hell. Yet, world war averted and total collapse of my share price right now. My share price has been socked by $30 because Ukrainians decided to do something funny. And then so watch, you're going to see that it's going to recover, but whenever these wars break out, it's really funny because your stock will literally suffer because of it. Especially these major conflicts. Jesus, stop! Are you serious? Just the random Italian strategic bombing of Ukraine. Look, the city of Zaporizhia is still not being fixed. Literally 10 years until Zaporizhia becomes... Mykolaiv and Zaporizhia literally just got wiped out because the Ukrainians just felt bored. I hate this game sometimes, bro. Like seriously. I just lost $30 billion because of the Ukrainians. Maloney and Ukrainian lady girl boss gatekeeping gaslighting. Can we post the positive net results for Arklith before we go today? That is the question. Revenue just hit $2 billion. See how much the company is worth. Arklith. Annual revenue is $4 billion across the entire company. $29 million net result negative. Market value, $3.6 billion. $31,000 in Texas and $37,000. We're about to max out production here in Arklith, which is good because we're finally getting it into a position to where it's going to be self-sustaining. And we're going to have like two new facilities. I should have built a second one. I remember I built the first one. So 2 in Australia. Okay, Nevada. Oh, yeah. I remember. It was north of Vegas. Okay. So we have 2 new facilities for Arklith. 650 days, so we'll have about 500 days until they're done. So about a year and a half. The save is set on the Russian propaganda timeline. I have some production in the Rockies that we want to focus on at some point.
I see.
Arklith 1.19% negative. Holy crap, dude. I'm telling you, this company has been in a negative literally since I bought it. Like, it was positive for like a day and a half, and then it went negative, and it's been net result negative for literally 2 years straight. And this is going to be the first positive net result that I'm going to be able to report from Arklith since I purchased the company. Like, this is monumental in terms of financial success. Like, I am genuinely happy. We're making money. We're about to start profiting. Our debt is going down. Our global market share is going up. And just generally, like, we're actually performing better with the Arklith company. Billions of dollars later, but do you have any companies or buildings in Europe? No. We're going to go to the end of the month. We're going to go to August and maybe see if we can report a net positive for Arklith. I feel like if we give it some money right now, like, it would actually, like, put it to the positive. Not anymore. Operating losses. Not anymore, my boy.
I see that our expenses are higher than our revenue. This activity is not profitable.
Net results.
We are losing
Look.
money, obviously.
Look at that. 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 The entire company is reporting a net result positive of $224 million. This is the first time since I have purchased this company that it is reporting positive. The last year we reported $2.6 billion negative in terms of net results. We are now reporting a $250 million profit for the entire company of Arklith. This is mainly because of the Australian branch and the increase in production of the American branch, but this is monumental in terms of this is monumental. I have literally been talking to Gabe about this for the last about 2 weeks that I've been playing this. Market value, 3.6 billion. Reserves is still negative, so we really kind of need to start building up the reserves. But this year, for 2030, is going to be a great year for Arklith because we are going to make a lot of money at the end of the year. Production purchases is up. $4.1 billion revenue throughout the entire company, but that is spectacular. That the entire company now is reporting $250 million net result positive. Intercompany loan, it still affects net results. Next objective, reach 500 billion revenue in US steel. I would say we could do that by 2035. $2.5 billion debt, $700 million material assets, financial assets 1.1 billion, funds 2.5 billion. 1.25 of that is going to be from the primary parent company of Arklith.
I see.
I literally think if we go forward a couple of days, we're going to have net positive results. That is exciting. The parent company's finally performing better. And actually, it's also because if I go and look at Arklith,
The pay that you receive has grown
products,
substantially compared to the company.
if I go to annual, I got a budget right here. Contributions to the parent company, we're making a lot of money off of the Australian branch. And I think that's one of the main reasons why the parent company of Arklith is doing so good, is because the Australian branch is starting to perform exceptionally well. And I mean, we're getting a lot of money from other well, this is expenses. Hang on. Contributions. No. We need to be looking at the Australian branch. How much is the Australian branch giving us? Because they should be paying the U.S. branch. Contributions to the parent company, $97 million. Okay, so $97 million is going to Arklith, U.S., and an Arklith is paying U.S. Steel about $200 million, and that's the 7.25% that we're able to get out of them for being their parent, basically. So general fees, $227 million. What about building loans? $27 million. This is in millions. $27 million in... What's the economic situation in Australia? %, corporate tax, 2%. Wow, look at that. Social program tax, 2 and 4% respectively. That is great. Business tax is only 2%. So actually, we're in a better position in Australia because actually I'm considering moving US Steel over there. So United Australian Steel, UAS. So United Mexican Steel and United Australian Steel going to be two major companies that we're going to be going for within the next 10 years. I was thinking about that too, because Australia looks good whenever it comes to economic competitiveness. Yeah, 30% corporate tax on profit, 2% employee social tax, 4% for employers. Business tax is only 2% of revenue. Carbon tax, none. 48-hour work week in Australia. But it's actually cheaper to hire people in Australia because minimum gross salary is $32,000 a year, while average gross income in Australia is $42,000. So we're actually... Wait, gross salary per year? Wow, actually, it's way more expensive to employ someone in Australia. It's only $14,000 in the United States. Dude's already thinking about sourcing the entire company, lol. A Mexican branch is going to be something that I really would like to see. It looks like revenue is actually stagnating right now. It's actually going down. Hang on. Okay, so we're making money. Net results predicted. Share price, funds, accounting valuation, 200 billion. And revenue predicted. Yeah, so you can kind of see we maxed out at nearly $245 billion, and then it's kind of like stagnated over the last couple of months. Maybe a Canadian branch as well. I'm wondering about that. Just a Canadian branch, maybe a couple. I would say no more than like 5 facilities across Mexico and Canada. How's your productivity, though? It's really important to increase it. Productivity is good. We actually have... I think we're good in terms of production facilities because a lot of these facilities are not maxing out in production. 3.8 million in Nebraska. 3.8 million in Nebraska. 4.6 million in Missouri. 5 million in Kentucky. 4.2 million in Kentucky. 4.4 million in Kentucky. So we're not maxing out these production facilities, except in the South, actually. The one outside of Birmingham, actually, is really, really good. We're maxing out at, what is this, Montgomery? Maxing out in Montgomery. No automation whatsoever here. Wow, look at that, though. Depreciation is 1. 1,418%. So actually, these buildings are starting to depreciate in value. What does that mean? Hang on. Annual report, depreciations. So this is actually going to start going up exponentially over the next 2 years, because when a company invests in the acquisition of durable goods, their devaluation increases every year. To put this loss of value into accounting terms, a fraction of their sales value is deducted each year from the total value of the company. Note that this will not have an immediate impact on cash flow except when it is out of service or completely obsolete, since purchasing a new one will incur an expense. The yearly depreciation fraction varies according to the nature of this investment. For immovable assets, all the depreciation will occur over several decades. For machines or tools, it's 3 to 5 years. Investments in research are also subject to yearly depreciation, in which in this case it extends over 5 years. So immovable assets, the depreciation should only be going up over the course of like several decades. So I don't know, like it says percent, 1,418%. I'll have to ask Pericles about that. Flea market Montgomery is just like, it's just like a mini mall. Hey, God, I'm old. I don't even know what you're referencing. Maybe it would be funny to have a Caribbean branch. Where at though? Bahamas? The Virgin Islands? Puerto Rico? What's the Puerto Rican economy like? God! 38% corporate tax. I'll send a reference later. Net results indicating profit or loss of the consortium or company. Arclith, 1.19% negative. Come on, we need you. I want to see a positive result before we go today. Okay, let's go to the end of the month. I think it'll upgrade after the end of the month. Stock price is stable but stagnant. Yeah, we dropped after the war started. Maybe it's dropping because of our depreciation of all of our facilities? $1,418. What does that mean? We're probably going to see... I'm wondering what that's going to do. Okay, so our stock price is kind of recovering here. Yeah, it's going back up. Like, we just dropped... Nope, it's going back down. Market value dropped too. What about Bahamas? Oh, you deleted your comment. $300 million. We're probably going to see that hit $1 billion over the next 2 years. It is really cool, though, that it is like the facilities getting old is actually implemented. See, all of my facilities, all of them are depreciating. You got a lot of steel jokes, don't you? You think all day on that one? I'm just kidding. Funds, $96 billion worth of reserves. So in raw cash flow, like, we're reporting a positive for Arclith. Arclith, 0.95. We're so close. What's our credit rating looking like now? F, still an F. But our interest rate is actually going down, only 8.5%. Do you have any guides in company gameplay? I really need to get off my ass and start working on it, honestly. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I have an economic tutorial that I've been working on for a while, but whenever it comes to kind of like integrating corporation gameplay, would you guys like to see the economic guide contain both a guide for companies and the economy? Or do you want like one national economy guide and then another one for companies? I feel like they should be separate, but like I'm wondering if I should put it in the same economic tutorial. But I feel like if I were to put them both together, it would make it like unwatchably long. Like one of those like weird autistic 3-hour dude, come on. Why is the entire world falling into conflict? Should I let the Iranians just go after Armenia just for like some ungodly reason? You know what? I think I'm going to let this war play out, but if it oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to let this war play out. Honestly, I'm going to let it just go forward. If it expands, though, I'm deleting it. I don't want World War III on my hands. What the hell did they hit him with? Iranians are just pissed off. You have no idea how fast I would do. No, honestly. I really hope the UN doesn't approve any military authorization. Where are you going? Please don't expand this conflict. Arcliff. Billion. Separate videos. Okay. I'll make it on separate. Which one do you guys want to see first? The company one, or do you want to see the economic one first?
I see.
We're so close to positive net results on percentage. Like, this is... I really want to see this before I dip. God, Jesus. Oh my God, they just... Oh my God, they just wiped out their entire military. God damn. See, Iranians just didn't even hold back. Yerevan is gone. There's 1,000 people. What the... Oh yeah, I forgot there was a nuclear power plant in Armenia. Please don't blow it up. The stock price is slowly recovering. Hopefully this war doesn't blow it up. Please stop. He's already dead. I wish you could stop selling it to certain countries. Like the company itself just says like, hey, we're not doing business with this country. I knew they were going to blow it up. I knew they were going to blow it up. Like, seriously, like, what in God's name? That's like the one thing you don't have to hit. It's the one freaking thing that you don't have to hit. Yeah, of course, the guide. All right, let's see what happens. See if that border disappears. Oh yeah, I never checked that on Yemen. What'd they do? Huh, I guess they just withdrew. I always like this conflict because the fighters of integrity literally have like hundreds of thousands of people for like some unknown godly reason. Like 600,000 people are fighting for the rebel group in Darfur. President of Iran is a woman in Shiite Iran? Are you kidding me? This game is so unrealistic. I hate this game so much. It's unrealistic. I can't even think. I can't even think. There's no way that Armenia would be invaded by Iran. There's no way. Jimmy Carter. Wait, didn't he die, actually? Yeah, I think Jimmy Carter died. Didn't he die like a year or two ago? They authorize interventions everywhere. I know, right? They really should expand on the diplomacy of this game. All right, one more look. Gabe, you won't believe this. Gabe, look at this. If you're not looking, look at this. 3.78% positive net results for the Arklith parent company. Australia, 15%. Argentina, 11%. We're still actually low on revenue in Argentina, but that's because I've been ignoring it. But Arklith is saved. 3% positive. Let's go ahead and see what the raw numbers are for Arklith. Let's look. Annual. Other expenses. Net results, $405 million. $4.2 billion in revenue. No dividends paid out. Depreciations is $19 million. But we are financially stable. Arklith has been billions of dollars in the hole. Billions of dollars in the hole. Like, we have just been struggling with Arklith over the last 2 or 3 years. And I've finally gotten Arklith into a position in which we are now going to be a net positive in terms of production, in terms of being able to finally get this company back on the road. I mean, like, I've literally wasted 2 years in game. 2.5, almost 3 years. I literally think I've been focusing on this for 3 years straight. And we're finally going to get Arclith back to where we need it to be. And it's finally going to be a net positive for the US Steel Company. So I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. This is the best possible way that I could have ended this episode today. If you guys want to see more of the US Steel gameplay, let me know in the comments below. 2.5 hours, wow. Really didn't mean to go on this long. But man, that has been an odyssey. Yeah, literally. 3 years I've been focusing US Steel on trying to protect this company. We had to refinance its debt. There was a point to where, like, I mean, we literally had $200 million in the bank at one point, and it was just exhausting. And I mean, I gave up halfway through, and only because of a bug in the game. Like, one of the positives of a bug showing up, it gave me the ability to be like, okay, let's try it. Let's try it. If it goes bankrupt, it goes bankrupt. And I am now going to be a competitive player in the lithium market across the world. So, very, very exciting. I am so proud to say that we are on the best track possible. 3 days? Eh. Wait, what? This one, 143 days. Why is this only 3 days in? Huh? When the hell? Oh, whatever. I'll think about it later. Anyway, guys, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. If you guys want to see more of the US Steel gameplay, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That is going up. I'm really wondering what the heck that is. 3,000%? I really need to ask. Like, what the hell that means. 342. I guess it's like expanding the amortization and depreciation. I guess it's expanding it like faster. So I think that might actually start hurting production. I'm wondering. 3733. Huh. Okay. I think it actually is hurting production. This was 9 million not too long ago. Construction date 2029. It's only a year old. Anyway, I'm going to be on here for like forever if I try to figure that out. Anyway, guys, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. If you guys want to see more content like this, hit that bell notification icon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching this with me, and I will see you guys very soon. I'll be making the next episode of the US series, and I'll also start like full production on the corporation. I guess we're going to start a corporation tutorial. Now that I've been playing this long enough, this is kind of like my trial run series, I guess, for the tutorial. And I've learned enough now to where I think I'm going to be able to confidently give you guys the information. And that's one of the reasons why it's been taking me so long to make those tutorials, is because the economy has changed so much in this game that I want to make sure that I'm not giving you something that's going to be out of date by the time the video comes out. So I'm also going to be working with Eversim, making sure that, wondering if there's any like major changes to the economy. So that way, like, I can kind of time it properly in case they make any big changes. But other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. And take care.